So I am inspired by you that you were practicing in the US.
Correct.
And then you wanted to come back to India and then, provide your service over here. And then you've been doing this for the last like 11 years. And you have your own center called Avis.
Correct.
Why did you come to India?
I don't know. There are 2-3 reasons. One I was very interesting. We had a Chinese fellow with us in the US, and he was training with us. And then he wrapped up or whatever. And he went through a lot to come into US and all. He was joined and became a nurse in California. And then as a doctor, he became a nurse first and then became blah, blah, blah. So he nearly spent 8-9 years. And then when he finally finished residency training, he one day said, I'm going home. I said, you're going home after all this? Come on, you went through hell. And initially when we joined residency with us, he had trouble with English and we really helped him out. He's a really dear friend of ours. And I said, why are you going back? And he said, very simply, and he still struggles with English even at that point. He said, because it's home. And for him it sounded so obvious, because it's home. And I think that really struck me. He said it in a probably very matter-of-factly way, but it was very emotional for me, the way he said it. And so that was like, something that I always thought about. Okay, so there is home and this home is somewhere else, and why not, right? And that's something to think about. Equally, I think from a career point, if you see the unemotional reasons also, there's a huge shortage of my field. Vascular interventional radiology was not there much in India then. In Atlanta alone, we used to have 80 people meet for the monthly IR Atlanta meet. Okay. And here, hardly 7 or 8 used to come for that state meet, by the way.
Wow.
So at that point in time. So there were hardly anybody formally trained. I was formally trained.
Okay.
So I saw the shortage. I thought this is a great time to, go back and see that. And finally, what is it? We came with 2 suitcases and 1 visa.
Right.
So we don't need the visa to go back. We have probably 2 more suitcases and maybe 2 more children, and that's it. And that's it. Just pack them and make them sit on a seat and put the seat belt, and you're back here.
Pack the children in the suitcase.
And we brought them in. Of course, they went through some shock waves when they came. So I think that was there was no doubt in my mind that it was a great thing that we went there and we got a lot of knowledge, a lot of seen the world. But home is where home is, and you should always go back home. And one really selfish reason also was that when you go first to US, right, they pay you some $45,000 as this thing, and you don't pay much taxes on that $45,000 or $50,000. So US gives you a lot in the first 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Subject, knowledge, friendships, friends, and you don't pay much anything, and then get a lot of state of that. And then once you start earning, it takes a lot back. It takes 30 to 35% back as taxes. I said, if I'm paying 35% of money into some government, might as well pay my government so that it benefits my guy, right? Some selfishness there. Instead of paying them, there's that angle also. So anyway, you have to pay you earn well, you pay 35 to 40% tax in any country. Right. So if you pay that in India, at least one Indian will benefit from that, or somebody will benefit from some road will be built, hopefully. So there's some selfishness, some emotion, and definitely some practical thought behind it.
What is your goal?
What I think should be the headline for me when I retire, maybe 10 or 15 years down the line, is I made this completely come out of the big hospitals. I made this a daycare surgery. I made sure there is no incentive to keep the patient 1 minute longer also. Right? Now, the bigger hospital, why would they send you home same day? I mean, you have paid parking fees, you are drinking 400 rupee coffee, there are 4 types of pillow options. Then you are walking around, and if by mistake, by 7 p.m., the varicose patient says, I have little headache, then immediately neurologist comes and orders a brain MRI. So there's you are this perpetual ATM.
Right.
For 5 days, 4 days, 6 days, 7 days. I mean, look, I had a patient, even my own aunt, 3 weeks ago had thyroid surgery. Obviously, large bit of thyroid was removed. And I met her at 6 p.m. I said, okay, auntie, you're fine again, whatever. Then she said, Amma, a lot of headache. I think I'm saying, that's because you didn't eat in the morning and then you went through a surgery. What else? You relax, I said. No, I have a lot of headache. And of course, my uncle got stressed. They called. By 11 p.m., okay, MRI, brain, this thing, that thing, 17 tests are done. 1.8 lakhs is the additional investigations for this headache that was incidentally seen after thyroidectomy on same day evening. right? With no neurological disorder, nothing. I mean, whatever. So what I'm saying, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying if I were running a huge hospital, also I'll think in that lines only, right? You have a capacity, and why would you not use it?
Correct.
So that's something I wanted to change, right? I think easy cases should be done easily and sent back easily, right? Why would a guy with a little sinus problem have to wait, right? I mean, why does a guy with a cataract have to wait? So they should be done and gone home. And that's what we did with varicose veins. I think that's the story, the headlines.